But I wanted to go back to Wednesday's White House press briefing. Secretary Jay Carney was questioned about President Obama's stance on the War Powers Act.
You're probably familiar with the quote from candidate Obama in December 2007 in response to a questionnaire from the Boston Globe, I believe it was. History has shown, I'm quoting, history has shown us time and time again, however, that military action is most successful when it is authorized and supported by the legislative branch. It is always preferable to have the informed consent of Congress prior to any military action. My question is, in compliance with the War Powers Resolution, will the President begin a withdrawal of American forces in the action against Libya this weekend after the 90-day period is up?
Well, first of all, as you know, there are no forces to withdraw from Libya. Let's just make that clear. Secondly, the President has acted in a manner that is consistent with the War Powers Resolution. I will point you to, not being a lawyer, to the legal analysis that will be part of the packet of information provided to Congress this afternoon.
Specific point, please. The timeline, the 60-day timeline.
Again, you're talking about the War Powers Resolution. You're talking about the War Powers Resolution. You're talking about a constitutional debate that has existed in this country for a long, long time, volumes of which have been written about, and the reasoning that we have put forward will appear and is being provided to Congress about why he has acted in a manner that's consistent with the War Powers Resolution. I don't want to get into that here. I will point you to the analysis written by actual attorneys and not just ones who play them on TV.
Congressmember Kucinich, your response, and also the fact that Press Secretary Jay Carney was warning Congress members not to send mixed messages about the U.S. military efforts in Libya.
I thought it was interesting that he said that we have no forces to withdraw. Those are his exact words. Yet, the Guardian UK, if you go to their website and you look at their data that they've assembled pursuant to their study of all the different nations that have played a role in this attack on Libya, the United States has 8,507 personnel of 12,909 involved in a Libyan mission, 153 of 309 aircraft, sorties that have been flown, which include parts of bombing raids, 2,000 of 558 raids, 228 of 246 cruise missiles fired by the U.S. Now, these are figures that were as of May 5th. To say that we don't, as Mr. Carney said, that we don't have any forces to withdraw is mystifying. I hope he wasn't being disingenuous. I hope that he understands that we are, according to the administration's own reports, on target to spend over $1 billion in this war against Libya. I also want to point out that when he says that they're consistent with the War Powers Act, if they recognize the War Powers Act, then at the outermost marker, they're in violation by the end of this week. If they don't recognize the War Powers Act, then that's the reason why we're in court, to see if the War Powers Act is viable at all anymore. That's a legal question. But beyond the statutory questions here, there's a constitutional question. And I would just like to say to the professor, with all due respect, and I suppose that you probably know more about these issues than most people because you've written books about it, there is nowhere in the Constitution where it says that our treaty obligations trump bedrock constitutional principles, which are enshrined in Article 1, Section 8, with respect to the role of the Congress, established in Article 1, first among equals, to declare war. We do not give up our congressional right, as determined by the founders who wrote that in there, that the Congress shall have the power to declare war. We don't give that right up simply because we have assumed obligations under Chapter 7. The UN Security Council and our obligations under NATO do not trump the Constitution of the United States. And that's the point we're trying to make in going in with this lawsuit, which I hope that the gentleman will have a chance to study, because you may see that if we are able to get standing, that this suit will have the potential, for being able to reset the imbalance which has occurred on this question of the war power.
Finally, Professor Turner, this question that Congressmember Kucinich put to you, if a country dropped bombs on us, would you call it war? Would you say the U.S. is at war in Libya right now?
Let me, almost as a point of personal privilege, emphasize I'm not defending President Obama, nor am I attacking him. I'm defending the Constitution as it's been understood for years. I would say in the defense of the White House spokesman that he did not say withdraw U.S. forces. He said withdraw U.S. forces. He said we have no forces in Libya, which is not the same thing as having forces taking part in this UN operation. I certainly agree with the congressman that neither the UN Charter nor any other treaty can trump the Constitution. The problem is the Constitution gives Congress a narrow negative on the general executive control of external relations. A declaration of war was understood to be an all-out war, today an illegal war, operating under the UN. The unanimous reports of both the Senate and House Foreign Affairs Committees acknowledged that the president was authorized to implement our obligations under the Charter, and they don't affect the power of Congress to declare war. You know, obviously, there's a big difference between the UN Security Council acting under Chapter 7, authorizing the use of force to deal with a threat to the peace, and some other country launching thousands of planes against us without cause. You know, but one other point that's very important. The White House keeps saying, oh, you're going to undermine our operation, you're going to encourage the enemy. I followed very closely the 1983 debates on the Beirut deployment, and I watched as members of Congress in a very partisan way. I think 2 Democrats in the Senate voted to support President Reagan on this multilateral deployment. And at the end of it, or during the hearings, P.X. Kelly, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, went to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and pleaded with them that their partisan debate was endangering the lives of our Marines. And now Vice President Joe Biden got up on the 29th of September 1983 in a Senate debate, floor debate, and he said, you've all heard that by even having this debate, we're endangering our Marines. Well, that may be true, but we'll never know until we have one of these debates. On October 23rd, terrorists, or shortly thereafter, we intercepted a message between 2 of the radical Islamic terrorist groups saying, if we kill 15 Marines, the rest will go home, or the rest will leave. And on the 23rd of October, early morning on Sunday, a terrorist bomb killed 241 Marines. Why did that happen? Normally, you don't want to kill American Marines because by morning, a lot more will be there with a real bad attitude. But in this case, Congress had inadvertently put a bounty on the lives of those Marines by saying, in fact, Chuck Percy, the Republican chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, actually said, we're not washing our hands. We've authorized this for 18 months. If there are any more casualties, we could reconsider this vote at any time. And it was right after that that the terrorists said, let's kill 15 Marines, the rest will go. They killed 241, and I placed a large deal of blame for that right on the foot of a partisan United States Congress.
Well, Congressmember Kucinich, we just have 10 seconds. Can you respond?
Yeah, historians should be very careful about putting blood on anybody's hands.
Well, we're going to leave it there. Robert Turner, co-founder of University of Virginia Center for National Security Law, joining us from the University of Virginia. Thanks so much for being with us. And Congressmember Dennis Kucinich, who has joined with 10 other members of Congress in suing President Obama over the War Powers Act.